All right, everyone, here we are with ticker symbol RKT, Rocket Companies Inc. And before we jump into this chart, I want to say welcome to all the first-time viewers and investors. Welcome to the channel, Invest for Tomorrow. To all the subscribers, welcome back, and let's jump into this chart. So here we are with RKT stock, Rocket Companies Inc. And I want to point out the 4 lows that we've seen this stock reach. So IPO started, it fell really hard down to about 18 in the 30-cent range, right down here. Then recently, when it hit those highs and it started to fall, it hit 1938 back in like September. And then we saw lows here back in the beginning of November, end of October in 1782, right? That was another low. It rose up, and now it's hanging out in that area again where it rose up to. And the most recent lows were in the $19 range. Something I'm noticing about this stock is that it hits new lows, but it keeps bouncing back, and it's looking like the lows are starting to work their way up. The lowest low was here, close to 17, but 18 and 19 are pretty much the lows that we've seen mostly hit. It's actually hit 19 twice. The 18 and the 17 only happened once each. What we need to watch now is Rocket Companies has potential. If you look up in different sources or different locations, which I'm going to do a more thorough video on that because this is a chart analysis. We're going to look at the resistance and supports and the 50-day moving average. Overall, this stock has a valuation that supposedly it's undervalued according to different analysis, different articles I've seen, and also different sources that show you what analysis are putting a price target on this stock, which they're not always, accurate, or sometimes they are, or sometimes it passes it, or sometimes it misses it. But when you see the same price targets or around the same price targets in more than one source, it's pretty interesting. But Rocket Companies right now seems to be holding itself up from that $19 range. The question is, when is Rocket Companies going to start to work its way up and not hit these lows again? Like, just start to do what a growth stock does, because Rocket Companies has potential. It has potential to grow, has potential to rise, and it's going to be part of, the process of real estate, and that's going to be a very interesting thing to see. And I think Rocket Companies also is not trying to just do real estate financing. They're going to do more than that, and that's going to be interesting as well. So let's go ahead and remove all these circles, and I want us to look at the MACD, and that's one of the things that is really standing out to me right now. The fact that the MACD is very volatile. I mean, it's been pretty volatile. It's been jumping more than the stock. Like, it jumps up and the stock's just going downwards, and it jumps up and it finally kind of gets a peak, and then as it's going down, it goes down slightly, and then it just jumps right back up, and now it's going down as the stock is going up. Right, so it's pretty confusing to watch this MACD be that volatile, and it's showing so many red bars as this is holding itself in that sideways movement. If these red bars persist, which you can see there's a drop of a red bar starting again, if that starts to grow and the stock's not moving down, all it takes is for those red bars to continue to pull this blue line down to that midway point, and once it crosses it, even though it's not reflecting just yet on the stock is actually going to go back down in that direction. So we need to watch it very, very carefully and how it's reacting, because the MACD is way more volatile than what the stock is actually acting, and the MACD can kind of give you an indication what's to come or what's going on with the stock. It doesn't always mean it's the most accurate way of looking at things. It's just an extra indicator to kind of pay close attention to. And the other one that I like to use is a closer moving average, and that moving average sometimes shows you the fact that it could be on its way on a breakout to continue to pull forward or get pulled down. So right now the stock is heading towards it, but it's holding itself up. It kind of landed on it and it pushes itself up, but we need to see if it breaks through that. If it breaks through this, it could actually hit newer lows, and it can actually do a turnaround. If it holds itself up above it or bounces off of it, it can reach newer highs. So that's another interesting thing to pay close attention to as well. But let's look at our support and resistance. We're going to look at it pretty closely, and then we're going to look at it a little bit broader. This is based off the last couple hours of the day, and we're going to see here what needs to be broken for this to continue to pull up and what needs to be broken if this is going to continue to pull down. So the 50-day moving average is 22.19. I'd write that down. 22.19, very important. Due to the fact that if it breaks through the 50-day moving average, we're going to end up in bearish territory, and this could start to hit newer lows. If the 50-day moving average gets broken through, your next point of reference is down here at 21.87 to see how the stock's reacting between the 50-day moving average and that lower support, to see if the bulls are reappearing or are the bears tearing this one down fairly fast. So we want to watch for that as well. But before worrying about those numbers down there, we have our resistance and our support. This support here is 22.24. That gets broken through, there's a very small window between 22.19 and 22.24. Super small window between the 50-day moving average and support. If that gets broken through, the bears are getting really close to getting this one into bearish territory. So it's going to be important to pay close attention to the behavior of the stock, how it's reacting if it breaks through 22.24, if it breaks through the 50-day moving average, and then you got your next support down here at 21.86 to see if it brings itself back up by the bulls and the tug of war starts, or the bears are definitely gaining leverage, pulling this one down further down into newer lows, newer support levels, and pulling it from the 50-day moving average in a downward direction. Now, on the other hand, we have what the bulls want. This is the highest point reached in this run. This is the highest point reached we've seen since back here in November 17th. So if resistance gets broken through, they have a peak here of 22.98, which is not that far from 22.83. But before getting to 22.98, 22.83 needs to be broken through, and the bulls will need to break through this. I want to emphasize that. Will need to break through this point, turn it into a support to pull away from the 50-day moving average and continue this upward momentum to reach newer highs and new resistance levels. It's so important and vital to keep that in mind. Pay close attention to it. If 22.83 gets broken through, this could start to pull away and reach into newer highs and new resistance levels, and the bulls need to break through this point. If not, the 50-day moving average will catch up to the price and by default put this stock in bearish territory, giving leverage to the bears. As always, if you found this video helpful and informative, please do so and subscribe. Don't forget to click on the bell to turn on all notifications and not miss a single video that I post. Share this with your friends and community, and don't forget to hit the like button to let me know you watched this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let's make some money.